Hey guys, welcome back to another Bobby FPS video. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. If you are new here, subscribe, stay, share, tell your friends about the channel. Really does help the channel grow. Obviously, you guys know I post primarily gun content, but just with it being cold in the Midwest, this is like the second year I've kind of done this where I still post a little bit of gaming channel stuff, but especially because I have a little bit of downtime, I'm going to be posting a lot, and hopefully there are helpful tips regarding Delta Force. So just let me know what you guys think. So in the very first clip here you guys are seeing is what I run on the tank personally. Out of the 40 hours I have logged on Delta Force, 35 hours has been logged on the tank. So I've really just been really passionate and just having a lot of fun playing with the tank. So first, starting off with primary weapon would be just the standard 120 millimeter armor piercing shells. Those just have the best splash damage for infantry and against vehicles. Against vehicles it's about 25 hit points, so 4 shots of vehicles, or most vehicles like the tanks and the AA tanks and stuff like that, it's about 4 shots. Sometimes you can lob the AAs with 3 depending where you hit them. Obviously all armor is different and just depending where you hit them, but most battle tanks or just tanks in general is going to be 4 shots. So secondary, I used to use the heavy machine gun, but I noticed the fire rate was too slow and it still had a lot of spread, so I just switched back to a light machine gun and I've been doing just fine. I like the faster fire rate and it's a little bit easier to hit players just because the spread I feel is not as spread out compared to the heavy machine gun. On gear slot 1, I use the thermal smoke because obviously if you notice in some of these clips is when you stay in the tank for a long time, you'll have people with javelins lock onto you, and thermal smoke breaks that lock on. Or when a javelin does lock on, you can still kind of break that heat-seeking missile after. And then gear slot number 2 is going to be that active defense, and that's very familiar, and it does the same principle as like if you played Battlefield 4, you'd activate it and anything moving forward that would hit you did no damage, which is really, really nice. So obviously you might be thinking, obviously this is all level 10, but you can still get by with the repair kit on the tank. And matter of fact, that's what I did too. And you know, you'll get by. Just remember, you have to play a little bit more passive, just because if you get hit, you just need to, if you get hit first by a tank, just remember that they probably have the active defense, and just to play a little bit more passive and don't overexpose. So let's get into the main video now. All right guys, let's get into the first point, and there's 2 points to this, but I think they're both equally as important. So the first one, and I'm just going to use the tank because that's where I have the most tanking experience, is just understanding the weaknesses and your strong suits. So like when I say weakness, understand that your back is, once it's hit, is going to disable the entire tank. Basically you'll basically be immobilized if you get hit in the back. It doesn't happen very often. It's happened to me once, I believe, and that was just due to poor positioning, getting hit in the back. You just basically, everything gets immobilized minus your turret. So just keep that in mind, is don't expose the rear end of your tank. Always face forward or to the side, and I'll elaborate a little bit more in a second here. And the second is just understanding like your strong points. So like in a tank, I'm really good at taking care of vehicles, and that's my main focus, is keeping, quite honestly, I'd rather have the vehicles chasing me and trying to kill me than them going around the map, you know, clearing my infantry. So just understand that like my job is to absorb all that, and I'm in a machine or in a tank where I'm able to take that kind of damage and hopefully end up winning. Like in this very first clip you'll see is I'm fighting the light infantry tank and then the main battle tank, and I went down to like 30 HP, but I was still able to survive. It's just because of also positioning. I think positioning is something a lot of players, or tanks, if you're trying to get very good at being a tanker, is positioning. If you watch, you know, this entire YouTube video, and if you do, I would really appreciate it, because there's a lot of stuff you can learn from this kind of content, or just watching this video, is my positioning is always optimal. There's very few times I've been caught off guard, and then just understanding where I am on the battlefield compared to the other tanks and the infantry players. So that kind of goes on to tip number 2 is map flow and tank positioning. The biggest mistake I see for new players or people who aren't as familiar with Battlefield games, or just being decent at vehicles, is they're over too exposed or they're out in the open. You'll see me, a few times in this clip, I bet, or in this video, where I might be exposed, but I have an escape door. I always know what to do to leave or where to go to cover, and I use my cover to the best of my ability, and that's the only way you can stay alive, because not only do you have infantry who's trying to kill you, then you also have tanks, you have attack birds, and you have little birds, and especially if you're in that tank long enough, you're gonna piss off enough people and they'll just hunt you. I've had squads hunt me and try to kill me, and I've only had one squad who was able to kill me doing that. So just keep that in mind, is just understand where you are on the map and where you can run to cover if you get low HP. So just keep that in mind, and I think that's like a very important skill, and it'll come with time, guys. Just understanding every time you die, you'll understand what you did. Oh, did you overextend? I see a lot of players will overextend to try getting those 2 or 3 kills for infantry players, but then you get killed because obviously you can't shoot all the infantry players, especially if there's three engineers. You get peppered 3 times, you're at 20 HP, another guy reloads, shoots you, you're dead. So just be very map smart and infantry smart when it comes to that. And that's also another point to that, is when it comes to that, you have to pay attention to your infantry players as well, like especially D on this sand map. I forgot what it's called already. Cracked, I believe it's called. Is you just really got to be careful around that D flag, or any flag in general. Is like, if you have no infantry to help you or to clear that infantry, I try not to overextend. I never push past D unless if we control that flag, just because it's so easy for infantry to spawn and shoot you in the back, and then what did you accomplish? You just wasted a tank, and of course you died. So that's what I'm saying, just be very mindful of the players around you and the infantry, because if you're in that tank long enough, like I mentioned, you'll have infantry who they want it out for you. They want to kill you because you're annoying and you're killing them. So just keep that in mind. And I think that's really important, that a lot of players don't understand. And then my third tip really is going to be vehicle cooldown. I know that sounds really silly, but if you're trying to stay alive, understand that every tank that you kill has about a 2-minute cooldown. So, just that main battle tank that I killed, you have 2 minutes to kind of roam or push or get map control, especially in a vehicle. Use that to your advantage. And then once hey, 2 minutes is up, and you see that there's no enemy tanks on the map, just kind of keep that in mind and understand that you should probably start retreating, just because, if 2 tanks hit you, you're already at 50, they hit you again, you're dead. So just keep that in mind. And then you'll probably get immobilized, or your tank or your turret will get destroyed. So just keep that in mind. There's so many little, I know it looks easy, but my main goal in a tank is not infantry. It's always vehicles, because it's easier for you in a tank to kill a vehicle compared to obviously you being in infantry and killing a tank. I just think it's much easier, obviously, being in a tank and doing that kind of damage. So once the vehicles are down, though, then you can kind of help your team. But I never like to overextend and push with the infantry, just because I can't really rely on my teammates, because usually I'm playing solo. I have a very hard time relying on my teammates, and usually infantry will get you killed. That's quite honestly, majority of the time I've died is I'll push up or overextend, and people will throw those sticky grenades, the assault class will, and it puts me down to 10 HP, engineer pops around the corner, I'm dead. So just, there's so many little things to kind of keep in mind when it comes to that stuff, is just being very map conscious and understanding the flow. And I know this might just sound like almost like common sense, but when I've watched teammates play, or just in general, I've seen people in tanks, the first thing they always do is overextend. Okay guys, I think this is gonna wrap up the video. Hopefully I made some really good points and just things you guys kind of think about, or hopefully keep in the back of your head when you guys are playing tanks, or any vehicle for that matter. This just example is for the tank. So let me know if it kind of helped or if you enjoyed the video. But most importantly, if you stayed to the end of this video, thank you guys so much. You guys are the backbone of the channel. I really appreciate you watching. And then most importantly, like the video, subscribe, expect more Delta Force content. I'm really hooked on this game, so there will be probably more tank builds and most importantly like weapon setups just for infantry players, because I assume that's the majority of the players. But besides that, if you did enjoy the video, thank you so much. I'm gonna let the rest of the video play out until I die in the tank, just so you guys can kind of study that and just see how I play. By no means am I an expert at this, or you know what I say goes all, but I just have a lot of time in tanks, and in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 I had a lot of tanking hours as well, and I just kind of understand, you know, don't overextend, and I'm trying to be a lot more thoughtful in this game and just not overextending and dying. So just want to share my tips, make a YouTube video. Besides that, enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you guys whenever I upload next. Goodbye.
Artillery barrage incoming. The enemy has taken over objective Delta. Objective is within reach. Stay on top. We have captured an objective. The enemy has taken over objective Charlie 1. Sector Alpha captured. Roger that. Artillery barrage incoming. The enemy has taken objective Charlie 1. The enemy has taken over objective Delta.